Hey everybody, we are doing a little bit of social casting today. We have Charmin Smith here. We have Roz. She's coming on in, but we're doing social casting with a purpose, right, guys? Because the world is crazy. You're on mute. I can't hear you. Hold on,
Oh,
Charmin. There you
Yeah, the
go.
world is crazy.
yeah, no, the world is crazy. It's a
Yeah,
strange time.
it is. You know what? I mean, it's not like I'm all knowing, but I've definitely never seen anything like this in my lifetime. I don't know what to expect.
Mm-mm. Nope, I'm kind of worried about what's coming next.
Mm, okay. I think that's fair. Roz, are you there?
Yes, I
I think,
am. How you
oh,
doing?
okay, great. I couldn't quite tell. I could not quite tell. Okay. So, Roz is actually our, I don't know, our expert for the evening. She's put something together for us as it relates to taking a look at the past when it comes to Whitney Houston and Bobbi Kristina. But we're going to talk about a lot of stuff. We're going to talk about Bobbi Kristina, Whitney Houston. We're going to talk about Pluto. Yes.
Let's talk about Pluto.
Yeah.
Yes.
Why is it so important?
Why is it so important? I'm curious. And Putin. And then, Mr. Palou, what is this that you have about our birth charts? What's going on with that?
Yeah, a lot of people know about astrology, but not everybody knows about birth charts. Not everybody knows that there's a lot of different planets that make up your astrology, and a lot of different planets that make up any type of readings of signs at any time. Because all these planets and all these houses and everything has a significance. So if people know that, they'll have a deeper understanding of astrological signings, which I personally believe are basically ancient repository of psychological knowledge. I think people are using these signs as an ancient repository of psychological knowledge, and then so I look at it from the deeper, more esoteric standpoint, as stories and allegories with the signs to teach us lessons in managing our psychology by understanding different placements and different energies that we might go through in life and how other people have faced it. They use astrology as a repository for that arcane knowledge. Thank you.
Okay. And so, just so I'm clear, most people have an understanding of their sun sign, right?
Yes.
Yeah, they have okay, and they identify with the sun sign, and that's what they know to be true.
Okay, great. And Roz, what say you on this subject matter?
I agree with Pelu and then your other guests. I agree with as far as basically astrology is not just your sun sign. It compasses everything as far as your personality, which they call a ascendant sign, and
Mm-hmm.
how you're feeling emotionally, which is your moon sign. And then there's other aspects that fall in between that, which develops you as a person or personality. So someone who could be born the same day and practically the same year can have similar type of interesting aspects about them, but they could be still different.
Okay, okay. And what's your input on this matter, Charmin?
Well, I think that most people are unaware that their birth chart encompasses all of the signs, and they play differently with you. Most people don't know what their moon sign is or how important their rising sign is, but also where their Venus lands. One of the tricks that I've learned is where I believe where Jupiter lands in your chart is the sign of your soulmate. I've
Really?
heard it said for women, you can tell how big their dick is based on where their Mars is. There's a lot of different
Hey, Mars and
things
Scorpio.
about your
I got Mars and Scorpio.
personality.
I'm sorry to cut you off, but I just want to tell everybody I got Mars in Scorpio.
Oh my gosh. So what you trying to say, Pelu? What are you trying to say?
He's
That
tough. He
that's where
can take
Mars is the most.
anything.
that's where Mars is the most powerful, because Mars is a ruler of Scorpio, especially in the more ancient schools of astrology before they found Pluto and all the stuff. That's why Pluto's important now, because Pluto was an addition to astrology. When they found it, they had to add it to astrology, and it took the places where Mars used to rule, like prime example Scorpio, but Mars still rules Scorpio, and it's still in dignity there, and that's especially for a man, that's the strongest position. That's the most strongest. That's the strongest sexual sign in the entire astrology. Mars and Scorpio is the most sexual placement in the entire astrology. So and I have it as a man. So I'm just giving some insight on Mars and Scorpio. Thank you.
So does that mean that you're hot to trot?
Scorpio rules the house of sex.
Scorpio rules
Exactly.
the house
Yes,
of
and I got a
sex.
Mars and Scorpio. Yep.
All right, fine and dandy. Okay, so Roz, um, what can you tell us about Bobbi Kristina? Oh, she left. All right. I think something's going on with her connection, but that's okay. You guys can rock and roll it, because I'm very interested in what you have to say about the different houses. So, Charmin, you said it encompasses all 12 signs, right? Do you know your chart?
Do I know my sign? I do. I know my
No,
chart.
all of you know all of your signs.
I know where everything lays, right? I know where everything lays in my my chart for sure. Not by memory. I have to pull it up and look at it. But the thing about your natal chart is maybe so. That's the easiest way to explain this, right? So, and most people know what their sun sign is, and there are 12 different signs, and there are 12 different houses, and everything is present in your chart, but where the planets fall in your houses determines your personality, right? So you can have your sun sign be in Scorpio, but because of the time you were born, and where the planets are, right, based on what year. For example, Pluto. Pluto is a long-running sign, so it stays in one sign. Pluto is a long-running planet, so it stays in one sign for 12 to 14 years. So we're talking about Pluto now because the Pluto return for our country. But Pluto is in the sign of Capricorn, where it has been since 2008. So if Pluto has been in the same sign since 2008, why do we suddenly care about its return now? The where everything lies in your personal chart impacts your personality and different events that take place in your life. You can time them almost.
That's very interesting. That's very interesting. So you told me the other day that Pluto is in the same place where it was when America was founded. How does that work?
Roz, do you want to dive into this one? Because that's one of the things that I'm really curious about as well, because if Pluto has been in Capricorn since 2008, and it is a sign of hostility, a lot of bad stuff's been taking place for us since 2008. But we only hit the return because we're at the same time in the same percentage done with Pluto in Capricorn, which is important to us. It is a return. We've reached the same degree it was at in 1776. But what's important is we didn't stay there forever, right? Whatever is taking place right now, this anger, this hostility that comes with these war feelings we are having that are so similar to they were in 1776, this isn't going to stay in Capricorn forever. We actually come to the end of this Pluto in Capricorn phase in March of 2023. So
good.
It is good, because then we move into Pluto in Aquarius, and it is the age of Aquarius as we know it. The change that we have been talking about, the more enlightened, the more kind, the evolution that is taking place with the age of Aquarius, we really are in it right now, and there's a lot of transition taking place for for all of us, whether we realize it or not. And the more we know and understand astrology, the more we can use it to benefit us.
Okay, I think that's smart. Roz, I know you're having a little bit of trouble with your connection, but can you speak to this matter at all? Okay, I think she's still working on her connection. Mr. Palou, what are your thoughts about what Annan has to say? He said, isn't Pluto generally not included in the old group of planets used in astrology?
No, well, Pluto has only been around since 1930.
Yeah. Hello. Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah. I was saying. I'm sorry. I think my connection might have come out real quick. Hold on. But.
Wait a minute. Is Pluto making us freeze today?
Hello. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay. I'm sorry. I fixed my connection issue. Yeah. Anyway, Pluto being it wasn't founded, right? It wasn't founded till when Charmin was trying to say. So it wasn't founded. So that's why things like Mars and Scorpio are still important because back then Mars used to rule what they're now attributing to Pluto. They used to all be housed in Mars, but then so Pluto is like the higher octave of Mars. So yeah, I understand what you're saying, but Pluto still connects to ancient archetypes if we know what is attributed with Mars. It was just part of Mars and a higher octave of Mars, so it's still relevant even though it's newer. Even though it's newer now, one of the ancient signs. I still find Pluto relevant if you understand it to be the higher octave of Mars. Thank you.
Wait a minute. Higher octave of Mars. I kind of get what you mean by that, but what do you mean by that specifically?
Is like the things that were attributed, like for example, the things that were attributed to Pluto were formerly attributed to Mars. The prime example is Scorpio. Scorpio is attributed to Pluto now, but it was classically attributed to Mars, and it's still attributed to Mars if you take both classical and modern into account. And I'm one of the people who do, in my understanding of it. So Pluto just is like Mars at a deeper level. It's a deeper level of power, and Pluto's like because Pluto's like the deeper level of power, and Mars is like the outer exertion of power.
Okay, I got it. And just FYI, if you like this kind of content, Empress Janet does a lot of this. If you drop your link, Empress Janet, I will promote you, my dear. I'll put it up here. And then also, wait a minute. You know what? Pluto is messing with us today.
She was our astrologer who was going to help break this all down for us. What happened?
I know. I think her connection is really bad. That's what I think. I think it's really bad, but that's okay. I also wanted to know that website, Mr. Palou, so that people could get their whole birth chart out.
Okay, yes, that website is 𝐊𝐍𝐼.com. It's short for astrolabe.
Drop it in the private chat for me because I want to give it to you.
I'll definitely do that. Yeah, I'll definitely give it to you. I'm just going to say it's 𝐊𝐍𝐼.com. I just want to say it out. ALABE.com. COM. Thank you.
Okay. Now, if you are a Loveland resident, you can come on up. You can come on up and add your thoughts to this, or if you're known as a true friendly and you want to have a little conversation about this subject matter, you can come on up as well. Hey, Ing, how you doing? So, what is with the different kinds of signs, like the water signs, the fire signs, air signs? What's the other one?
It's Earth. Earth. Yeah, okay, first is fire. It goes fire because Aries is first. Fire, earth, air, water. Fire, earth, air, water.
So why is it in that order? What does that order mean?
That's just the way it is, because it's the first. Because the first sign is Aries. Aries is fire. Aries fire. Then second sign is Taurus. And Taurus is earth, so fire, earth. Third sign is Gemini, air. So fire. So it's fire, earth, air, and the fourth sign is Cancer, water. Fire, earth, air, water, and then it starts back again with fire with Leo.
Oh,
And it just keeps rotating. So there's fixed signs, right?
okay. So if you are a fire sign, what does that mean about you? If you have a lot of fire signs.
You have a very fiery personality, right? The Sagittarius, Leos, and Aries, right? All the fire signs.
Yep. Because I got Sagittarius in my moon. That's my most fiery sign right there. I got Sagittarius in my moon. I don't have too much fire except that. I got Sagittarius in my moon.
Wait, so wait, fire, earth, air, water. So there is 3 of each sign.
Mhm.
So Sagittarius, Aries, and what's the other fire sign?
Leo.
Leo. Yep.
Leo. Okay. And then what's the earth signs?
Earth signs is Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn.
Mhm.
Ooh, what sign makes you go, woo? What sign does that to you? It's like, ooh, I don't know about those Leos. I don't know about those Virgos. Which one?
Geminis.
You don't know about those Geminis?
Geminis. Who I don't know what it is about Geminis. Geminis are dangerous.
Oh my gosh. Why do you say that?
Well, they're the sign of the twins, so they've got dual personalities, and you really never know what you're going to get.
Hey, I'm a Gemini, so
Wait a
yeah,
Well,
you never know what you're going to get with a Gemini.
the Gemini is here, the one and only.
Okay, well, to that point, unpopular, we kind of never know what we're going to get.
Well, but since we're talking about Geminis, I mean, we are indecisive. We are mutable signs. We are subject to change. This is who we are, and you have to deal with us.
Well, the Capricorn's in the building. I'm the first in the side.
Capricorn.
Yes, I'm a Capricorn, and they love it. 160.
Capricorn.
Born and raised.
Capricorns ain't nothing to play
any
with.
sign. I can go up against any sign, and I can love any sign, but they can't love me, darling. Because I will take them, I will suck them in, I'll become them, and then they're useless to me, darling.
Ooh.
Oh my God, are you a succubus?
We are the devil, darling. You better look us up. Rare.
Oh my God.
It's been so rough since 2008.
Yep.
Oh
I'm the angelic Capricorn though, but I'm all Capricorn though. Shout out Empress Janet, Capricorn season, always, all year round.
Always,
Capricorn season,
all
all year round. Capricorn season.
16. What up? Oh, wait, sorry. 16 days in, I used to say. 16 days into the new year, I'm first. People be like, what? I'm like, I get my birthday first. You have to do the whole year. So I'll wait while you guys catch up.
All right now.
I used to be really feisty when I was in high school. Now I'm just
I'm a January baby too. Yep, I'm first week of the year.
I don't know what none of that is. I do want to learn it, so I do like your lady friend up there with the beautiful black hair. How you doing? I'm Empress Janet. But yeah, I don't know my moon and sun and Saturn, so I was really interested when you guys were saying that.
Okay, so I just dropped a website. Mr. Palou gave that to me. Where did it go? I thought I just dropped it. I'll do it again. But you can put your information in there. It's really easy.
You dropped it. But you can drop it again though. But you dropped it.
I'm gonna drop it again.
And I'm sorry, Gemini. I love Geminis. I'm sorry. They are two twins. They're crazy. I love the crazy one, but the good one never likes me. So shout out to the Geminis.
Shout out to the Capricorns, because Capricorns get looked at as these very aggressive people, but at the end of the day, they are just people that they immerse themselves in their solitude. They love.
And we wear our heart on our sleeve, brother.
Facts.
We don't take no crap, honey. I can smell a liar. So know that.
Well, look, Empress Janet did come up in here like
guns blazing. Like, girl, I would have kissed you, girl. I'd have high-fived you. I'd have high-fived the other girl, like, hey. And then at the boys, I'd have been like, shake my hand, be a man. I always feel like breaking the ice. It's never been my problem. I don't know if that's my sign. I always
Might be
kind
your
of feel
moon.
like it is because we just want to have fun. And
Yes.
a lot of us aren't like, they think like conceited and selfish. I love, like, if I like something, coach, I'm like, oh my, like your glasses. I freaking
Uh-huh.
love your glasses because I wear glasses like that, right?
Thank
So
you,
I'm the
darling.
one that'll give you the compliment. And
Right?
then you think that I'm trying to do something, but it's like, I don't stand next to ugly people. And that's
Ooh.
inside or out. So if you're ugly inside, know that I will see you because no, I love flaws. One thing about a Capricorn, we love our money, we love our business, and we love security. Okay.
Okay.
The team players always have to be secure. If I sniff you and you're lying, there's fear on you, you telling me one thing, doing another, nah. Because
You're
when
not
I'm
having
coming
it.
through,
None of
I'm
it.
coming through wholehearted, like with my heart on my sleeve, right? So they take my kindness as weakness, darling, rather than seeing it
Mm.
as purity because I don't owe you nothing. You don't owe me nothing. Why do I
Right.
have to stab you in your back? That don't even make no sense to me, honey. If you want to go to the Coach store, girl, we going to the Coach store and I'll buy you a wallet if you ain't got the funds. And you don't even got to say nothing. We'll just slide it right up to the counter, girl. Ching, 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 and be out of there, right? But some
Okay
people
now.
can't feel that. They don't have that feeling, but like Capricorns, we're not jealous of nobody. There's nothing. I love her beautiful hair. I love Palou's smile. I love this guy's fake avatar over here with no.
not, not the fake avatar. Okay, Weezy's a Pisces. He's a Pisces.
He's a Pisces.
Janet, okay. For real, if you go to this website, it'll take you like 3 minutes to
Okay.
fill it out.
Okay.
You need your birth time.
Okay.
You
That's
know,
Yeah,
it.
you need your birth time, but if you don't have your birth time, you can still get everything pretty accurate except for your rising. So
yeah.
just discount your rising if you don't have your birth time. You just discount your rising, but yeah.
So go there, put in your information, and then come back and tell us what else you are, because I bet you have some fire in your bones. I'm just saying. I'm just saying.
Okay, so where do I fill it out, darling? I'm a little lost on the website.
Just go down to where it says my free birth chart. It's going to have a link saying my free
Okay, I
birth
got
chart.
it.
Yep.
All right, I'll be back. Toodles.
Okay. All right. Mr. Unpopular, Roz.
Yes.
Hello.
Okay. Okay, you in up, you in. What's up, Roz girl?
Hi.
I'm glad
Technology is issues.
Hi.
I'm glad you're
Hello.
back. I'm glad you're back. Hold yourself, because Unpopular was going to tell us something about him and all his Gemini-ness. What you got,
Okay,
Unpopular?
sure.
I mean, we was on the subject of all these astrological signs and stuff like that, and being a Gemini, I mean, I haven't really ran into a lot of people like me. I've ran into like my best friend was a Taurus. I think somebody was talking about right now in the age of Aquarius, and
Mm-hmm.
I feel like when you really go into the depths of these things that's going on, it's kind of like you got to bring a mature mind to it, because I mean, this happened. This is dated way long back when they really started to bring astrology into the human construct of how we see each other as people, and how this was incorporated in our lives all across the boards all over the world.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like one of those things where I feel like it's a mature topic. You know, with my polar opposite being Capricorn, it's I lean to be, not to make this political, but I lean to be more of a very conservative person,
Mm-hmm.
and that makes me very religious.
Hey, I
That makes
have to
me
correct you
very
though. I have to correct
religious.
you. I have
That
to
makes
correct
me
you
very
though. I have to
religious.
correct you though. I have to correct you. The polar opposite of Gemini is not Capricorn. The polar opposite of Capricorn is Cancer. Cancer is in opposition to
Oh,
Capricorn. Cancer is opposition to Capricorn. You are in opposition to you'll be in opposition to Sagittarius.
Sagittarius.
You're in opposition to Sagittarius.
oh
You're not in
wow.
opposition. Yeah, you're not in opposition to Capricorn. No, you're not in opposition to Capricorn. You're in opposition to Sagittarius.
And so when someone's in opposition, does that mean they can't get along? What does that mean?
Nah, it just means that you're diametrically opposed. You're 180 degrees. You 180 degrees separated from each other. It's geometry. This is how
Okay,
people
well,
kept
listen, I'm just
geometric
asking
knowledge.
a question.
No.
I'm
I'm just
just
letting you know.
trying
I'm
to
just letting
figure
you
it
know.
out.
I'm sorry for coming off aggressive. It's just geometry.
Okay.
People counted geometry when they did it. I mean, because people use astrology also to tell time back in those days. Matter of
Okay.
fact, some countries still use it. If you go to Iran, right? If you go to Iran and Afghanistan, they have their Persian calendars. Their Persian-based calendars are all based on the zodiac. They're all
Okay.
zodiac, and the first month is the beginning of Aries, and they have a holiday called Nowruz. Nowruz, the New Year, is in Aries, which is the vernal equinox, or the spring equinox in the northern hemisphere. So
Okay.
that's all astrological based. So astrology is also a calculation system that people use to tell practical time too, and it also has mathematical implications because we know where all the energies go from all the planets and the suns and everything through mathematical calculations.
I got it. I moved unpopular because I felt like all the men should be between the hot girls.
Hot girls.
I think this is the first
Yes,
time I've been
yes,
on a
yeah, yeah.
panel with more women than men.
Well,
Well, it happens sometimes.
Yes.
Okay, my sweet. Oh, okay, my sweet. Roz, are you ready?
Yes, I am.
Okay, you are ready. What do you have for us? And Empress Janet, no,
Okay.
we haven't forgot about you because I can't wait to see what you got.
that's why I came back for you, girl. I love
Thank
you,
you, babe.
girl. I got your back, and you already got the receipt on that. So
Yes, I sure do. I sure do. Okay, Roz, what you got, girlfriend?
Okay. So, my laptop is rebooting as we speak. So, as far as having Whitney's information and Bobbi Kristina's, I don't have it yet. But I can talk about some other things that are relatable to this show's topic today, which is
Okay. Well, just jump in.
sure. I know I heard something about we was talking about what you call your polar opposite. So like for Gemini, Sagittarius, and like say for a Leo would be Aquarius, and it doesn't always necessarily mean you can't get along with that sign, that opposite sign. You are opposite, but also too, if you look at it from a learning perspective, that sign could teach you certain aspects of yourself that you may need to work on or you may not be aware of, and what you could call like your shadow self,
right.
in a sense. So, I'll give an example of Leos. Leos is grounded in self, more self-centered, and I'm not saying in the negative aspect, but more of a personal aspect of the singularity. It's about showmanship. It's about showing. It's about
It's the ego.
dramatic.
Confidence.
Right. The
Yeah,
confidence.
it's the ego.
Exactly.
It's the ego is in the sun. That's why, because it's ruled by the sun. That's why, because the sun is his ruler.
So the ego
Right.
is in the sun.
Yes.
Yes, the ego is in the
Right.
sun, and the sun
Okay,
is the
so
ruler of Leo.
all right. So in actuality, can we just go through each of the signs and tell what they do? Before we do that, I do want to get back to Janet so she could tell us about her hot self.
Oh my God. And I have a master's degree, so I'm going to do a presentation. Oh my God. Here we go. So
There you go.
I'll put it in the back. You guys can read it in the private chat.
Okay, I see
The
it.
rising sun is 11 degrees Capricorn. So that was the first one they gave me. Now, do you want me to read the rest, or do you want to read the
Yeah,
rest?
yeah. I
We want your
yeah, give it to
moon.
us.
We
I'm
want your
sorry, I kind of
rising.
lost my voice. I was at Woodstock in the UK. I mean, it was like
Okay.
so lit. Yeah, the Woodstock exists, okay? And I was
Okay.
there. My tent was posted. I had a ball. So please forgive me. I was partying like a rock star.
All right now.
Could you
I
read
believe
it?
that.
What's her name up top? I love her smile. Could you tell me your name, sister?
Oh, I'm Charmin.
Charmin, can you read the back for me, love?
Oh, you want me to read it from the back here? I got to get my reading glasses for that.
Ooh, she said I want to read it
I
from
got
the
to get my
back.
reading glasses.
Oh
You want to
my
read it from
God.
the back, girl. Read it from the back, girl. Just wing it, girl. Somebody
Oh,
help this old lady.
yeah, somebody
Hold on
help
one
this old
second.
lady. I got to go find my reading glasses if you want
Come
me to
on,
read from
Coach.
back here.
Okay.
Hold on, hold
Oh,
on.
it says
Can
her
we get a link for
rising
the full
sign.
chart so that we can see the rising and the Venus and all the good
Ooh,
stuff?
I got you, girl. I got you.
And then hold on, let me
Because
go
It says
find
her
some
rise.
glasses.
Oh,
I don't know what it means. You know what I mean? I'm not sure how. Can I share my screen?
Yeah, you can.
Show you, girl. I love it. Go
Yes.
ahead, Miss Coach. I love you, girl.
I love you
it
too,
says her
darling.
rising sign is
All
in
right, I
11
shared
Oh,
it.
here we
degrees.
go.
Capricorn.
All right, here we go.
Oh,
So I'll just scroll
I don't think
down
you can hear me.
and then we'll go like this,
Let's go
right?
back
Because
up
I
and
don't need
see.
you to see my real information.
You don't want us to see your real information? Your moon is in Taurus. Oh.
Oh, wait, no, I'm talking about it shows my real name.
Oh, okay. Right.
Yeah, girl. I ain't trying to
Yeah.
dox myself, girl.
Right. No. Protect yourself. Protect yourself. This is
Well,
YouTube.
Period, girl. And I'm a superstar. They coming for me now because I put this on my community wall, Miss Coach.
Oh, you did?
If you get
Okay.
any trolls, please forgive it. So this is how it was set up. Is this wrong? Do you want the actual spinning?
No, this is
wheel?
fine. I mean,
You
this
want
is
that? Okay.
No, yeah. As
look
long
at
as,
look
as long
at
as
the
you know the
pattern
signs
though. Go back.
and
Go
the
back. Let's
degrees.
see. Go back up. Let's look at the chart. Let's look at the pattern.
Okay.
Right.
Pretty.
So anytime you have 3 planets in one house, it's considered a stellium. So does this break it down for you? Where it tells you which planets are in which house?
Sweetheart, Palu, you better come on because you got me
No,
doubting myself. What was this website about?
No. You should have put a fake name. You should have put a fake name you should have put a fake name. I'm sorry, but I should have told you to put a fake name.
Well, you didn't. You just told me to do it.
Everybody put a fake name. Everybody now you're here put a fake name and don't dox yourself online. I'm sorry if I
Yeah,
didn't.
you're lucky I've been doxxed 28,000 times, bro.
Yeah.
So
Okay,
again,
so
I will show it. I don't
no,
care.
no.
But again,
Yeah.
what am I missing?
No, nothing. Because we're talking about astrology and it shows you all your signs.
Yeah,
It
but
shows you all your
sister girl
signs.
asked a
And she's
question.
talking about houses. I know, but it might not get houses. It might get houses all the way to the bottom. I don't know where it gets houses at. I mean, I know.
Let her ask
I
me
mean,
again so I can search for what she was saying. Because this is what they wrote, darling. All of these is my things. So even if we don't read it, we can just say the rising sun is 11 degrees.
Yeah, let's do that. Let's do that piece. That's what I think.
Sun is 26 degrees Capricorn. Your moon, okay, here we go. It's 0 degrees Taurus.
What do these degrees things mean?
I don't know. Yeah, come on.
no,
Blue.
because every single sign has 30 degrees, and it's 12 signs. 12 times 30 is 360. It's 360 degrees in a circle. It's geometry.
So, but if you are 0 degrees versus 30 degrees, does that make you more a lesser sign?
Okay, at 0 degrees, you're just starting. You're in that sign, but you're on the cusp.
And people who have 0 degrees in a sign tend to be very immature.
Okay.
Immature, really?
Like a class clown. Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Like a
Oh,
class.
wow. Okay.
I love her. Go ahead, girl.
And there are degrees that indicate if you're psychic or if you're diabolical. There's a lot to be learned through somebody's chart. You can there's a lot of information just by getting to know yourself through this opportunity, right? The knowledge that you have, it looked to me like you have several stelliums, that you have several signs where you have multiple planets in the same sign, right? There's something called synastry, where there are people who study the way the planets play off of each other and how and how it impacts your personality to have so much Capricorn. I'm curious what house number that falls in. Oftentimes, people whose moon falls in the 8th house tend to have a lot of childhood traumas. There's a lot of anytime there's a lot of 8th house activity, it centers around a lot of pain, a lot of focus on death and rebirth and regeneration and the occult, and a lot of research and mystery is involved in the 8th house.
Wow.
A lot of 12th house placements usually indicate psychic abilities. So I would be very curious to see where all your planets fall in what house, because it will really determine. You can tell a lot about your wealth, your relationships, whether or not how successful you will be. There's a lot that can be told from your chart if you really spend the time to learn it. But it's very beneficial to find somebody who studies synastry, because it does take years to understand and perfect how the planets play against each other.
Yeah, and I want to add some more to that about the houses falling, about planets falling in the same house. It's quite common to have planets fall in the same house for the simple fact that both Mercury and Venus stay close to your sun. Like most times, you have the same Mercury or Venus as your sun, and if not, you have it one sign away in both directions. So
my sun is a Taurus and my Mercury is a Capricorn.
Yeah, to have Mercury in the Capricorn makes perfect sense because you have your sun in the Capricorn.
My Mars is a Leo. My Jupiter is 28 degrees Gemini. Saturn is 29 degrees Leo. Uranus is 15 degrees Scorpio. Neptune is 17 degrees Sagittarius. See, I told you I carry all the signs. Pluto is 16 degrees Libra.
Here, read that to us.
Which one, darling?
Pluto in Libra. This impacts most Gen Xers.
Oh, okay. Pluto is 16 degrees Libra. For your entire generation, this is a time of radical changes in society's attitude towards marriage and interpersonal relationships. There is a general fear and an awe at the power inherited in making emotional and contractual commitments. They will not be entered into lightly.
So what does that mean? What is it all about?
Okay, so I believe that we can have emotional connections. And because we cannot physically touch each other, people believe that you cannot be genuinely cordial or friends with people that you don't see or touch. But I believe
I disagree with that strongly.
Yeah, I believe in it. Society has to change. And I believe our attitude towards marriage and interpersonal relationships is very serious. So that's funny that they mentioned that.
Yeah. How do you handle the Me Too movement? How has that impacted you?
I don't really believe in the movements, darling. I kind of stay out of that. I'm like Switzerland when it comes to things like that, because I agree and I don't agree. So I'll find 3 things I like about it, and then I'll find 3 things I don't like about it, and then I'll just mind my business.
Can you see how it's impacted the male-female dynamic and how that statement about your entire generation plays into that?
No. Can you explain?
Well, so what I've seen with the Me Too movement is that it's had a huge impact on male-female relationships. The idea that men don't know right from wrong. They don't know what they can and they cannot do, and they can and cannot get away with. And the concept from your Libra and Pluto statement that for an entire generation that relationships are going to have a real significance on whether or not they move into a relationship, whether or not a commitment is made. To me, that plays into what we're seeing right now is a generational is a problem with the male-female dynamic. And Pluto was in Libra for 14 years through most of Gen X. And most of us are really struggling with relationships and how we enter into them and communicate with each other.
Oh, And you see how I came in hot, loving everybody. I kissed the whole panel.
Yes, you did. Yes, you did.
Because I want to give that good energy, Miss Love. If I came to your house, I'd bring a present. I'd hug you. You know,
Yes.
I'd help clean up. I'd sit and play the game and drink the wine. And then I'd leave at
Aw.
appropriate times so that I didn't feel like I was, you know, overstaying my welcome, I think it's called. But yeah,
Right.
I've
Right.
always been like that, and I don't know why. I believe that love can fix a lot of things. I never
So
had
do
a
I.
family. I'm from the foster system, so my story is
Oh, wow.
real. And I feel
Oh, wow.
like, you know, nobody loved me, right? But it wasn't
Mhm.
true. And when I went to find the story and found out that my mother, she got put away in a mental institution because she was a white woman and she chose to be with a person outside her race, she suffered. And then I suffered.
Mm.
So I was able to forgive
Wow.
everybody because you
See,
don't
Mhm.
know the story until you ask. And then when you find out, you've got to deal with it. And I forgave them because there's no sense to go back and try to understand why they did what they did. But I was really loved by my mother. And that was the one thing they kept telling me that was false, but it was true. So we can love and forgive. We can set our petty squabbles aside and listen to each other. We were made for each other. Whether we're signs connect and we don't, you know, fit and all that, what's we do? This puzzle fits together perfectly right now in this moment.
You know what? I strongly believe that somebody has the missing pieces to your puzzle. So if we're all a big puzzle, okay, we might have most of what we need to create our picture, but the people that we meet along the way, they have our missing puzzle pieces. And that's why we're sent to connect with certain people so that they can fill in our gaps and we can become whole together.
Very well said.
I really like that.
Oh, well, thank you. Thank you.
Because
Thank you.
life is a highway and I want to ride it. I'm
All
a
night long?
All night
all
long.
night long. I'm gonna ride it till the wheels fall
Oh
off, girl.
my
I turned 44 in January. I'm grown, okay? So I
You
got to
super grown,
learn to be
girlfriend.
a mother without being a mother. My children left, they went to college, they got their own house, cars, they're beautifully made. You understand? I raised
Yes.
them well. So I'm proud of that. But now I need to move into another road or a lane that I didn't expect. So it's time to grow up. It's time to learn my, the puzzle, the broken pieces, so that I can be the best woman that I want to be. Because I was so
Right.
worried about being a mother. I didn't want to fail that. I kind of failed myself because I didn't know that there would be a time that I'd be alone again. And then I
That
got to
Mhm.
be
empty
me.
nest.
Yes, yes,
That
love.
empty nest after the
Yes.
kids
And I
leave.
refuse to go to the bar and get wacky kabaki. You know, I have been crazy out here on these YouTube streets because I really genuinely care about people and I don't hide. So when they
Mhm.
love bomb you, gang stalk you, and then, commit all these weird things to you, that didn't sit well with me because I went
Mhm.
to people's panels the same way I came to you, sister.
Right.
I mess with
With
you. You
love.
know I do.
Right.
So I'm showing you love and respect for your channel and everything that we're supposed to be doing for each other. Why
Mhm.
don't you share their channel out on your community wall? It takes 5 minutes. Why don't you hit the like just to support them, everything that you can? There's nothing that she's asking for, right? But it's just the fact that she brings us together and allows us in her sandbox. So I don't know Coach Love, but I'll know her online. So she'll share, we'll share. Everybody on the panel will share. But when we leave here, I want to feel good. And that's
Right.
what I want everyone else to feel when we leave here. That way we can come back and again do what we do. There's
You know, I
nothing.
have to say that's definitely what Love Land is all about. I have a question for each of you. I'm curious, do you think your sign makes a difference on whether you're an empath or not an empath?
Great
Um,
question.
I think ultimately no, no, no,
Okay.
no. I think that's I think your sign might show you, it might show you like things you have to know growth and develop. An empath is just somebody with a deep growth and development to feel, to understand that they are of one soul with all humanity. So it's about development. in my opinion, like your signs might tell you some things that about your development. It might be written because I believe in destiny, so I believe that since things are destiny, and there's always signs of your destiny. So yeah, they could be signs of your destiny, but it doesn't necessarily. I don't think your sign itself necessarily indicates your development. Your development itself is just the from the favor of God. Thank you.
Okay, I'm glad you mentioned the favor of God because a lot of people think that astrology is against God.
Yeah, I mean, I get why they would say that, right? But you have to. If it depends how you understand it, right? I understand
Hmm.
it from his both astrological and astronomical thing as a repository of ancient wisdom.
Hmm.
I mean, I look at it like scientifically, like it's a science. Like I break it as an art and a science. It's a skill set that people learn to get knowledge. So it's like it's part of history, it's part of culture, and it's part of our understanding of ourselves. And I think our understanding of ourselves does we can record it in the stars, because the stars go to the certain destiny is already prearranged motion. So from the stars learn the stars. That's how we learn the laws of nature, and from the laws of nature is how we got science and mathematics, and how we got things to develop us into the human race we are today. So this is our arcane knowledge sources that are there for us to always have and remember and tap into if we need be the information locked in for our understanding of what we go through and our understanding of the archetypes that our ancestors wrote to teach us the lessons that they wanted to teach us and keep it for all these generations.
Wow. Oh, wait a minute. Ing makes a good point here. Okay. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Um,
Yeah, I
yes.
was going to
This is
mention that as well
excellent.
about the Greek.
Speak to that. Speak to that, Rod. Speak to that, please.
Well, I was just going to say they study the which I call the universe. They study the skies. They mapped out the chart. They charted out the map in order to look for baby Jesus at the time. So what the perspective is that they were possibly one of them or so were probably astrologers.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like an ancient um, technique that people did utilize, but because of being in the age of Pisces, it was um, we were colonialized, and then also too, they didn't want us to seek the power. If you given information about how to better yourself in the long run, and this is one of the tools or modalities that you can use, then a lot of people wouldn't be so controlled by organized religion. So this was another reason why it was told a lot that you know astrology is bad, or it's not. It's the Bible said this. Well, if you're looking at the King James version, of course it's going to say that, because at the time he rewritten a lot of the text in the Bible, and this is during
Yep.
the age of Pisces. So as we're coming
Wow.
through our own awakening through the age of Aquarius,
Yes.
we're beginning to recapture and reclaim our um, practices that helped us through humanity and mankind before.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And the thing about it, though, let me add some one more thing to what Ross was saying. And the thing about it, even in the age of Pisces, when all that happening, like all the kings and all the courts, they all had astrologers. I know I know for example, the queen before King James, Queen Elizabeth, she had an astrologer for everything.
Did King David ever speak of an astrologer?
I don't know about that. No, I can't attribute that to King David in my
Okay, I was just
if I
curious.
remember.
I didn't recall.
I
I
think
didn't.
he was more into psychic and getting psychic, from what I read, and I read that recently too. Um, More about what did they call channeling, that we would call modern day channeling or mediumship, as far as him communicating to God, and him listening and being told what to do. And there's a passage in Samuel where he had to go and look for to observe the kingdom, from what I remember reading. And he had, for me, that's like, okay, he's channeling, he's listening to the spirit, and
Mm.
which they equated to as God in the Bible. So there's some interesting aspects if you could read in between the lines. They even talk about in another chapter, I think it's James. This is one of the verses where they talk about the power of the tongue and how, you know, now people use it as law of attraction as far as manifesting and speaking something into existence. So there's so many different modalities you could see or observe throughout the Bible in different passages. It's just reading between the lines, as they say. But that's, you know, that's a different sector of it. But I know we're talking more about astrology right now. So.
Well, no, I think it's important to talk about that kind of thing because, you know, when you have a heart for God, you do not want to, you know, do anything wrong against him. But at the same time, you take the time to understand that God gave us this knowledge. And to Ing's point, and to yours too, Roz, they found Jesus's birth by the stars. So somewhere along the line, something was misunderstood.
And they brought him crystals,
Oh yeah, you
Right.
did.
Yep. Yep.
healing oils.
Yep.
We healed each other and learned differently 2,000 years ago. A lot of knowledge has been withheld from us for a purpose of controlling us.
Okay.
Right.
Good point.
Excellent, excellent. Unpopular, you've been quiet, but I know that doesn't mean you're not thinking anything. What's on your mind, sir?
I mean, I was just listening to what everybody was saying, and I guess how I interpret it, how astrology correlates with religion, and even politics in a sense. And what Charmin was just saying about you know, how we've been a certain amount of information has been withheld from us because I feel like it's part of like the natural order of just allowing human beings to progress their thinking and trying to exercise these things. Like in Africa, like I'll use this for example, like in Africa where they live in nature, you know, giraffes, hippos, lions, hyenas, cheetahs, all these things. Um, you know, when you look at nature being like this thing that's thriving off how they exist in Africa, like you could be attacked by a lion or something like that. It's kind of like one of those things where like you see these videos where you see these men, they learn how to train lions. You know what I'm saying? They're sitting there cuddling with
Okay.
them and all these things, and like you're looking at a beast, a freak of nature. You know what I'm saying? Something that at a point in time it can prey on people, and um it's like one of those things where it's just like when you engulf yourself in such a positive energy, it's like nothing really can really mess with you. You know what I'm saying? But you have to think about people that walk on the edge of life. You know what I'm
Okay.
saying? Like people that's homeless, or it's just one of those things where like positivity for the most part it supersedes everything that we believe. Positivity is the main thing, and I, it's like it's this certain level of like negative energy that exists in the world that I feel like depending on how you were born into the system, um you may not be able to understand that or not. Like negative energy doesn't necessarily, like it exists, but for the main part I feel like it's like somebody pinching you. You know what I'm saying? Like until you start looking at actual serious topics, like things that's very detrimental to somebody's belief systems, like we have labeled these type of people conspiracy theorists. You know what I'm saying? But when you look at like the surface of looking at life in a certain direction of like, okay, like it's to the point where you can't even speak on certain things because people might get very upset about it because it's petty. And
Well, hold
um
on. Before you go too far, I want to roll this back onto the politics aspect because, you
Mm-hmm.
know, Sharman and I, when we were kind of talking about this whole subject matter, we were like, was Putin destined to go to war at this time? And so you brought up politics. It's a perfect intro to this idea of war, and because he seems like that's what he wants to do. It's in his heart. It's in its mind. And he's going to war because war did not have to be at this time. This is a chosen war. I mean, am I the only person who thinks? Who else thinks that? Does anybody not think that?
I don't think that. No, I don't think it's astrological. If he had to go to war, because it was destined to go to war now, and the astrological signs might make us understand the destiny, but the astrological sign is not what made the destiny. Just a tool, is a sign. It made us understanding the destiny to see what was the patterns of things that happened in this time.
I think
okay. So I'm not saying that
I was going to say, does Charmin have a thought? Because I really want to hear what she has to say.
I think he timed it. Reagan, Nancy, and Ronald both used to use astrologers, and they timed major events to coordinate with specific planetary transitions. And I think Putin timed this just like the Reagans did.
Yes.
I think this was a calculated event. I think that he doesn't know that his Pluto is at 22 degrees in Leo, and we just had a big full moon, or maybe he did, in Leo. But I think it was all timed. And I think that astrologically, his placements and his degrees is ironic with the way he timed it with 2/22/22. And it also happens to be this big Pluto return for the United States. And it's a time of upheaval and conflict. I think also there's a lot to be said for the conspiracy theories that have been going around, because it is part of Putin's propaganda. All the QAnon stuff that has taken place and taken hold of our country for the last couple of years was part of a timed and coordinated attack by somebody specifically designed to tear us apart. And they used a lot of lies and misinformation, and Putin's misinformation and the way it's being used worldwide and other places is getting a lot of attention. And now's a good time to use it, to call it out and call it for what it is, a specific targeted attack designed to make us fight each other and make us hate each other and distrust each other. And really what we need right now more than anything is a way to be able to identify the fact that people were tricked and they were deceived and they were lied, and help them acknowledge what the truth is, and get back our friends who have been lost to Putin's propaganda machine. I find that there's a lot of irony in the fact that he really targeted our Confederates and reignited the desire for cessation and to divide the United States, when the thing that he cares about so much is bringing Ukraine back under the USSR umbrella. He doesn't mind destroying us and tearing us apart, but he wants to bring his people back together at all costs. There's identifying the irony in the situations is really important for us to get through to people that they were tricked and deceived. And it's frustrating for me to see people who claim to be so patriotic and caring about our country supporting this man who they have known throughout their entire life, especially the older boomers and the late Gen Xers that are following and supporting Putin. That we were raised to have a healthy level of fear and distrust for the Russians because we grew up under the constant threat of nuclear war. And I find myself shocked that we're living in a time right now where Putin really is starting the third world war. We're having honest conversations about him lighting the air on fire, and people are supporting Putin because they think Putin is better than Joe Biden because they hate Democrats.
Yes.
And Democrats are Americans. And we have to get to a point where the United States of America is united again. And what he has done by tearing people apart with these spectacular QAnon videos, the hypnosis, the layered suggestions that are throughout the videos are mind-blowing when you're able to really put it together, and to see the way Trump drops into a lower octave when he talks to people was so present on January 6th during the insurrection. He had that rally where he got so many people fired up, and he did that drop into a lower octave and
Yep.
speak in a real smooth tone that he does on occasion. I've been in rooms of people and watched their eyes glaze over when he starts doing this. Some people are more susceptible to suggestions than
Yes.
others. And a lot of the people who are sitting in jail right now because they participated in that
Yes.
insurrection feel like they were duped by Trump. And Trump and Putin have been working together to split us apart and get us to fight each other because they don't want us to get along. They don't want us to unite and come together and collectively bargain the way we were designed to do. It is beneficial for Putin to get us fighting each other and getting us to believe a bunch of lies about each other. Meanwhile, he's busy lying to his own country, to his own people, to his own military for his own purposes. The idea that he is deranged isn't far off. You know, the fact that he's willing to kill anybody just to bring back the USSR, it is a madman's mission.
I mean,
Well said.
he's different than the USSR, though. To be fair, Putin is different than the USSR. He's not trying to bring back the USSR. He's trying to bring back old Russia, because Russia existed before the USSR thing. Like Russia is a competitor to the United States, but is this going to be that way? Because it's like the world is not going to be ruled by America. Like even America is still going to be the greatest power in the world, but it's going to be other centers of power, and Russia's going to be one of them because it has a big nuclear arsenal. It's just going to be able to do what it wants, and then especially right in its border. So it's a lot to look into. You can't just. I think the bigger threat to America is China. Because China is the base of communism right now, and I think China is a way bigger threat to everybody. It's a radical atheist state. Like Russia, at least they're trying to bring back their religion from the communist days. But China, they're still a radical atheist state. They don't want any type of spirituality for their people. They destroy all spiritual movements, and all of them are heavily suppressed and heavily censored by the Chinese Communist Party. You have to be an atheist just to be a member of the Chinese Communist Party. That's the only people who rule the country. So China is a new threat. Like back in the Soviet days, yes, you could say the Soviet Union, but I don't think Russia is the new Soviets. Russia's just trying to be Russia, and it feels it needs to take Ukraine over because it has to protect itself from NATO, because they don't want a hostile alliance right at its borders, and its borders are
Doesn't he
exposed
have
in
the
the
nuclear
central.
button though? He got
And
the
I
he's
know,
the
but you
one that
can't just use
created the
nuclear buttons
hostile
like that.
environment.
You can't just use your nuclear button.
Wait.
You can't just
Ding,
use your
ding,
nuclear
ding,
button to
ding,
fight
ding,
wars.
ding,
It's too
ding,
much
ding,
insulin.
ding. Hold up. I just have a question, and we'll go one at a time. As a matter of fact, let me change the panel up just a little bit so we can tell who's talking. I am curious about this particular idea. I cannot celebrate Putin and what he's doing, even if I agreed, I don't, but even if I agreed that he should take over Ukraine, the way he's doing it is absurd, because you cannot put property over people, and land is essentially property. He's bombing the people so he can get the land. That is absurd to me. So that's just overwhelming. It's simply not okay.
I'm gonna give you one thing though. Right? I'm gonna give you one thing. One thing is that when he took over Crimea, right? Crimea needs water from Ukraine to survive, right? So he has to. So when he took over Crimea, the Ukrainians cut off the water supply from the Dnieper River. That's the main river in Ukraine. That's the river through a canal that supplies Crimea. Now Crimea now is over 2 million people now really have no water. He had to go in the southern Crimea to blow up the dams they put in the canals that bring the water down to Crimea, so people won't die in Crimea. And also you might think about it. You put lies over property, but the way they look at it is that, look, it's a national security threat. We have a hostile alliance in the form of NATO that's designed to counteract us, that's moving closer to our borders. We have to anchor in more defensible borders, and so they're able to make our borders more defensible to stop a possible invasion, because they've been invaded before many times in their history, and Russians were conscious of that.
Okay.
it's imperial business. I mean, it's imperialism, but it's warfare, and America cannot control all the warfare all the time in the world. And then Russia's going to show America right now that you know what, it's going to be other zones or other people could do stuff. Like America does that stuff. They went to Iraq, they went to Afghanistan. You know what I'm saying? Maybe some were justified, maybe some were not. But America had military interventions when they think it was in national security interest. So other countries that are powerful enough to do so might do the same thing that America did. Like America just got
Take my breath. Ding.
Take a breath, Mr. Balloon. Take a breath.
Just because of Sherman's face, I had to put her up here because
I love her. She got that face, and I'm gonna tell you what she's saying. If you don't slow down.
Especially considering Russia just destroyed a dam and screwed up Crimea's water like 3 days ago. Dude, you make the wrong argument completely.
Crimea didn't even have water.
Crimea deserves to be
water.
independent from Russia, and Russia does not have the right to just go into countries and take possession of them. And that's not what America did with Iraq. We don't own Iraq. We didn't go in and take control of Iraq. We liberated Iraq so Iraq can figure it out for themselves. So I'm not sure they 100% appreciate it. But at least we had the backing of the international community to do it. Russia absolutely does not. Ukraine deserves sovereignty.
So are you going to tell me that?
Ukraine deserves sovereignty.
You can
period. It deserves its freedom from Russia. It does not want to be part of Russia. Just because Putin wants it back doesn't mean Putin gets it. And we should absolutely fight Putin. Putin is not too big to fight. We should absolutely put him back in his place so that and just align with him because he's tough. You just cave to bullies.
Never. Simple. If you have Putin,
start the fire.
If you have Putin, okay, why you gotta sing? Okay, hey, can you cut off our mic for singing? Okay, next, you might see it like that way, but America went into Iraq. America controlled a lot of the international things. So if America that says I want to go in Iraq, they did it. They said it's in the national security interest forever there was to go in Iraq. Even if it's to get no nuclear missile, whatever they say that he was trying to produce his weapons of mass destruction. When he came there, he ain't had no weapons of mass destruction.
The best defense you have is you're going to compare what we did with Iraq to what Russia's doing with Ukraine right now. I mean, is that the best you got? I mean, we're not exactly comparing apples to apples here. Not even apples to oranges. It's more like apples to pineapples.
Get them, girl.
This is military interventions that make these countries, like these countries are all artificially made anyway. Like even Iraq, it was made by intervention.
The borders have been drawn and they will not be taking any more borders back. Russia does not get to access land. Nobody else does either. Like people think that it's okay for China to be posturing up on Taiwan, and it is not. Right? What America did across the North America isn't okay anymore. We're going to have to figure out how to deal with that too. And we're not going to be letting Russia run around acting like a fool trying to take over Ukraine, bombing children's hospitals and hurting civilians, lying to their own military so they don't even know why they're showing up. At least our military knew why they were showing up to Iraq, and we had the support of the international community when we did it. Russia did not.
Mean, who's gonna stop Russia? Who's gonna stop him? Are you gonna stop him? Are you gonna fly over?
Right now, it looks like Ukraine's doing a pretty good job of stopping Russia, but I think everybody ought to be interested in stopping Russia. I can't believe so many men are okay with just buddying up under Putin and caving to him and not standing up to him. It's really disappointing.
Oh my. Okay, welcome, Annan. Hold up. Welcome, Annan. How you doing?
I'm good.
Okay, did you come to say something or you just wanted to be close to the fire? I'm just curious.
I'll listen and I might say something a little later.
Okay, Raj, you were on deck. We haven't heard from you. Go ahead, Miss Roz.
Okay, I was going to say, as far as astrologically speaking with Russia, or with the country in the world, period, with America going through its Pluto return, and as far as Pluto being in Capricorn, we're towards the end. So we're right at these end degrees of Capricorn, and there's going to be a battle for power, a battle for structure, if you think about what Capricorn represents. And the need for it is, once we transition into Pluto into Aquarius, which is going to be a different type of realm as we speak. And we have to look at it as, are we going to allow the powers that be, or are we going to allow, as Sharman said, the bullies feel like they're competent enough to take over and redirect or change the I don't want to say narrative, but the journey for humankind as we try to evolve on this planet. And that's where we have to put our foot down and stop certain entities from doing that, because it's not going to benefit the future and our generation and the future generations.
Ross, Empress has a question for you. Empress has a question for you.
Thank you. Sure. I just wanted to know, could you tell us when it begins? Because you said that the Capricorn's ending and then the other one was beginning. Is it now, or are we? I just wanted to be clear on that. I'm sorry, love.
3/23/2023.
Oh, 3/20. Okay, so in March. Got you. Okay.
March 23rd of 2023, Pluto moves into Aquarius.
Thank you.
Is my mic on? Hello.
Yes, your mic. Well, I hear you. Anyway, welcome more and more family. I love you guys. Listen, you see this here? This is Isabel. I had to go in my teacher stuff. Okay.
Oh, that's funny. I got one of those too.
Exactly. Okay.
How about we do this? You get out of hand, you get this.
All of that. All of that.
I think we have plenty of that right now.
All of that. When y'all hear
civil. Let's keep it civil now.
Yes. When you hear the sound effects, we're gonna get to it. Okay, family. All right.
Well, I'm gonna mute.
Okay. I just wanted to say,
I have a question, so I'll mute, and it's time for me to speak. Sorry.
Okay, I just wanted to add this because I know I got cut off. Pluto and Capricorn was from 2008 into 2024.
2008 to 2024. So we have to wait until 2024 to get rid of this foolishness?
Well, we jump into Aquarius, Pluto in Aquarius, March 23rd of 2023, but then it stays for a little while and then it comes back to Capricorn. It retrogrades and dips in and out before it fully leaves November of 2024. So I would anticipate all of these feelings of transition over power and struggle to take place through the next 2 election cycles. So now is a great time if you're interested in changing the power dynamic and interested in speaking up to assert yourself, because with change comes new participants.
So does anybody have any idea what we should be doing financially during this, roaring season?
I had a question. Should we be investing in Russian stocks?
In Russian stocks.
Well, you know what?
Why
so
would you
we're
want to invest
Dan
in
and I are thinking the same
but
thing.
that's an interesting
money.
question, if I may say, if you want to go deeper, because Ukraine is, when you look at the World Economic Forum, Ukraine is on top leading when it comes to sustainable renewable energy. They're one of the tops. You know what I'm saying? So there's a technology that sea salt in the seawater can be converted into energy. So that's if Russia cuts out a piece of Ukraine, they have access to that. What is it called? The Black Sea, which give them access to the Mediterranean. So there's a lot of technology that's coming into play. So that's just one of the other narrative. But I do have a question, because I'm not too, not into the astrology much, but I'm more looking to astronomy. What does this has to do, if any, if you can explain, the Bear constellation and the Draco's constellation? And the reason why I say that, the Dragon constellation, because the bear, Russia is known as the bear country. That's their symbol, and that's also a constellation, when you look up to the bear, right? And then Draco's, China is known by the dragon, and that's where you get the Draco and other those constellations. So is there a connection there where these constellations are, well, of course they manipulate how we conduct ourselves on this earth. I always feel there's a connection between the stars and stuff. So, but have you ever heard that narrative before about the bear and the dragon and this is the time for them to, what's happening in terms of astronomy and what's happening to those constellations. Anybody know anything about that?
I'm
That's
sorry, you
more
don't.
like medieval type. I can't remember the word, but there is an astrology sector that
Mhm.
studies Babylonian. I think that's
Okay.
what it is. That
Oh,
studies
so
that
the
ancient.
Babylonian, yeah, that ancient study.
Right.
And the
I'm not
Sabiic,
well
the
equipped.
Dogons study the Sirius A and B and C. Okay, I see what you're going
Right. And there's certain astrologers out there that can break that down
with.
through the history and galaxies and astronomy perspective. But depending on like Charmin, she's like she might have certain type of modalities in astrology. I have certain modalities in astrology. That astrology is huge. It's like global. I mean, it's like you could look at the size of a planet. There's so many different aspects within it.
With astrology.
So
Yeah.
right.
What about the Dendera? About the Dendera, that astrological chart in the Dendera that also lines up with astrology. With the Leo and the Virgo and all that.
Dendera with the Thundercats.
Now I'm talking
Like,
about the
what's the
Dendera,
Thundero?
and that's in the
Right.
temple. In the temple, I think of Athar, and then Now Valley, one of those temple, ancient Kemetic, and they have the Dendera on the ceiling of one of those temples, ancient temples, and it you can see the constellations. You can see all those constellations. I don't know if anybody's familiar with that. But it's interesting that the person, about the finance. So I'm looking at it like the bear in the stocks, the bear market. So
Okay.
that can be a time that everything is falling. You know what I'm saying? I believe the bear market. And then you have the bull market, which is where it's going full ahead. Dead count bounce. Now, these are jargons they speak in Wall Street. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So
And
it's
so
interesting.
I'm wondering, Annan is wondering about the money. Celos is wondering about the money. I am wondering about the money. Can anybody show us the money?
I know that's right. I'm worried about the money too.
Yeah.
We want all the monies.
Yeah.
Right. And you know what? All I can say, if we cannot answer that question today, maybe we can research that.
Yeah. I'm
See, I
not
love Wizard of Oz. Wizard of Oz, follow the yellow brick road, the gold to the wizard.
Well, it's interesting that you bring up gold because the bulk of Putin's reserves is in gold.
Oh.
And all the
China too, right?
sanctions that are taking place with him to prevent him from being able to sell his commodities should have some real impact on. It will be interesting to see what the impact is.
Well, what do you think it's going to do to the gold market?
Are you saying that Putin?
I mean, personally, if it were up to me, I'd tank the gold market just to have him wake up at 9:30 in the morning and see a big goose egg for his reserves.
Yeah. Everything is down now. The bear market. Everything is down now. It's the bear market.
Are you saying
right
that Russia may be forced to sell gold and that might push the price of gold down?
No, I'm saying I don't know how these sanctions are going to impact him because the bulk of his reserves is in gold. If it were up to me and I could control it, I'd tank the price of gold just to give him a big goose egg and piss him off. That's not up to me.
So his currency, his exchange outside of Russia is being sanctioned is not going to, it's put a hold on to the exchange. In other words, you're not going to be able to buy, you're not able to exchange your Russian dollars past the Russian border. You know what I'm saying?
And most of the Russians are very poor.
Most of the Russians, yeah. That's a big, huge landmass.
I had a question.
Huge landmass.
Yeah, they're really fast. They're always rushing all over the place.
That was a good one. That was a good one.
I'm rushing. I'm rushing down the block.
We're rushing a lot. We're rushing a lot.
We're rushing here.
We're all in a hurry.
Hey, Anna, what's your question, Anna?
I had a question for the astrologers. Yeah, so one question I have for the astrologers is, did Xi authorize what happened in the Ukraine? As in Xi, the president of China? And I'm just curious what the astrologers say about that, or if they have any insight.
Nice.
I mean, I don't think the astrologers know if she authorized Ukraine.
Okay, I think Roz has a response.
Do you?
I'll just say from a basic aspect is that we are in Uranus to Taurus. So, and Uranus is a planet now that does represent Aquarius. It didn't in the previous astrology, but it represents it now. So if you think of anything that is the terms of Aquarius, as in forward thinking, collective, advanced technology, certain things of that aspect, it's in the season of Taurus. So Taurus is more about resources, like housing, stability, those type of aspects, natural resources, things of the earth. There's going to be a lot of shifts and changes as we're seeing, like even with the supply chain and how you can go to the store and you're not going to be able to find everything on the shelf like you used to, how the pandemic has happened and that has affected a lot of the natural land resources. People are moving and relocating. So I say in the terms of aspects of Russia, all the countries are going through it in various ways. For a person in a position, that type of power, who could use astrology or know the forecast of how things are, they could use it to their best knowledge, or they could use it to manipulate certain things that happen in society. So that's where you want to pour more cautious to. As far as the crypto, things that you're going to see that are going to pop up, like crypto is being really popular. You're going to see emergence of tiny home living where people are going to start downsizing and moving in a different direction of their lifestyle living, minimalist type living. There's just going to be certain aspects that deal with Uranus and Taurus for the next few years that we're in transit of it. So don't be surprised to see the market go up and go down, because people predicted back in December that crypto was going to be booming and that people need to start investing and get ready. However, during the end of December, when the new variant came along, posed the issue, and then also in January, you start seeing a downturn.
The debt count bounce.
Right. So some people say, oh, that's good. It's happening that way. But then for the most part, a lot of astrologers too were saying, hey, it wasn't supposed to really be happening that way. So we don't know what's going on. So like I said, it can be, things can happen in the aspect of these transits that we may think it's directional in one sense, but people will change it up. So
okay, so just whether you're into crypto or not, crypto is here and I don't think it's going anywhere. How do we think astrology and the war might affect the cryptocurrency?
Good question.
I would say, especially with us being in Saturn and Aquarius, and we're transitioning to Pluto and Aquarius in 2024, and like Charmin said, late 2023, but then it goes retrograde. You want to keep an eye on that, because Third World War could be more so about international hacking. It could be about grid lines. It could be about technology. Anything
Russia's
rooted
good
in
for
that
that.
space.
Yeah, Russia's very, very
Right.
high technology in that. Cyber security.
And you got China too, as
China
y'all
too.
mentioned.
Exactly. Cyber security.
I had another question. There's this concept of disclosure when our friend, the interdimensionals, reveal themselves, or the ALIENS reveal themselves. Do you see that? What does astrology say about when that happens and what effect that will have?
Well, they said it was supposed to happen now. Like last year, it was supposed to happen. There was sightings of aliens. Oh, well, I know you spelled it out, but
I mean, I don't know. Annan does that sometimes. I don't know why he does.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know why we're spelling out aliens.
Right. But
we don't want to go there.
There's a story I'm missing.
Yeah, that I don't honestly, I don't know about them, and if they're going to show themselves up when everything is on fire, as a term to speak. or if they're just here already and they're undercover, and they're just, there's a lot of different beliefs about that. But
What's
I
Frankie say
mean,
about the aliens?
You know what's so interesting about this, interesting, is that, with the astrology, and it's true, a lot of government are very invested in that, in the astrology. And matter of fact, they even hire astrologers in their cabinets, and to manipulate, because that's the stars. That's how you navigate yourself through life, right? Now the thing is that this astrology that they're using, right, of knowing how, the cosmos are dictating things, right? And they're on a board. This is my visualization. They're on a board, a chessboard, right?
Okay.
They're on this chessboard. So on a chessboard, you have two different sides, right? You say the white figurines and the black ones, right? Right. So there's a chess going on. But this is what I always say, that in order for you to have a conflict, right, it doesn't involve two parties. There's a third party involved. So look at the chess game. China is pushing Russia to have a conflict with Ukraine, right? China's at the core, the third party. Reverse that, and you got Russia as the third party for China having a conflict with Taiwan. See that? They're on the chessboard, and they're manipulating their way, you know what I'm saying, to create that condition, you know what I'm saying, that we're in right now, and having all these rumors of wars and stuff. Now the narrative has changed, because you look at the news, you look everywhere around us, everyone is speaking about this Ukraine and Russia, you know what I'm saying? And it's important, because how is it going to impact us? Well, we got representatives that go to the United Nations. They sat at the G7, and I saw it live on TV. They were telling Russia, don't do it. But you think Russia cared? The next couple of hours, they were bombing Ukraine, according to what we see in the media. Because a lot of times, I don't even know. It could be all staged, but that's conspiracy thinking, right? It could be all staged. Like Shakespeare said, life is a stage, and these are actors. And there's there's movement going on that we're not privy to. We're not privy to those movements.
Okay, since you want to go into conspiracies, okay, I'm going to throw a big conspiracy out to you then. Okay. So let's just say, and is it okay if I could do that?
Go ahead.
Speaking.
Okay.
Who's this? Roz?
That's Roz.
Yes.
Okay, Miss Roberts. Okay.
So, as we see what has happened now and transpired with Russia and Ukraine, how about maybe all this was in design and pre-planning years ago when 2016 happened and Trump was elected into office, and how maybe he did have the help through the Russian government to be elected, as Sharman mentioned earlier about the cohesion of mind, reversal of psychology on people, the patriarch, and have them believe a certain thing, and they went a different way.
Yeah.
And maybe this was all by design. That, who knows? I'm just speaking for myself. Maybe he shared, the him and Putin was cool. Maybe he shared some secrets. Maybe he shared some knowledge about the country. Maybe this is why they are trying to become new world order, as far as Russia being on the top country now versus America being one of the strongest countries.
Ross,
Plus,
to add on, I'm sorry. To add on what you're saying, look at what happened with Snowden. He had all the cybersecurity, right? And he went to Russia, and Russia hit him. To Russia.
Right. So,
you know what I'm saying? So a lot of secrets was taken to Russia.
Right. So I put that out there, is that this is a strict, real deal, like war games type of things about power and control. But how, as we as individuals, are going to work through society amongst this minutia. How are we going to continue to survive or prosper or create value in a society where, they're playing those type of war games? That's more of a question, I think, that we should bring more topics up
Yeah,
about
yeah.
that.
I mean, they could plan all they want, but I always like my podcast. I do a lot of nature science. So I'm into the Nile Valley nature science, and coming from that, paradigm and the Ma Federation and the way, and Sabiic, with the stars and that culture of dealing with stars. Because astrology that comes from, I think, Greek or Roman, right? Astrology in Greek, if I'm not mistaken. It comes from astronomy,
It comes from
but it was
Babylon.
the Greeks
It comes from
or the
Babylon.
Babylonians. Okay,
It comes
right,
very, very
right,
old.
right, from the Babylonians, right? And the Babylonians, prior to the Babylonian, was a Ptolemy in ancient Kemet, which were Greek coming in.
No,
Yeah,
the
No, no,
Ptolemies
no, no,
were
no.
right after
Babylonians
the
came by the
Babylon.
same time.
The
Sumerian.
No,
That's right.
Babylonians came.
Yeah,
Yeah,
hey, can we
Babylon. Yeah,
round back to that
Sumer.
Bardo
Uh-huh.
stuff?
Okay, I
Oh, it's
believe.
less than session, guys.
I'm ready. Tag me in, coach. Tag me in.
I
All
still want
right,
to hear Frank
Empress
talk about
Janet.
the
Empress
aliens.
Janet, go ahead. Empress Janet, go ahead.
Oh, I thought we were playing.
Well,
right?
you know what? You're
No,
on the
wait.
side,
speak,
right?
but I really like if everyone could speak at one
Crypto's
time.
been pumping.
I don't have a voice, so I do apologize.
You ever been in high school and somebody told you, you should start saving money, young lad?
Was that Frank?
You ever heard that before? You ever heard somebody say that? Hey, you should start saving money.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, hey, maybe when you're 30, you should start saving money. No, maybe when you're 22, you should start saving money. Well, hey, the best age to start saving money is 18, right? Everybody's heard them. Everybody's heard the different, ages. You got to start saving money. It's so important for your retirement, right?
Right.
Okay, so crypto's a lot like that. If you haven't bought crypto at this point, okay, some sort of crypto to get into the digital, currency game, you're way behind. You needed to do that yesterday.
That's true.
Okay.
Frank is right.
Okay, can you explain why, Frank?
Simple. It's right there. Pretty much just told you why. It's the wave of the future. It's not going anywhere.
It's not going
Industrial
anywhere.
Revolution.
If it remains stagnant, that's one thing, right? But it's not going to drop off the face of your earth.
Mm.
No,
It's all around us in the cyberverse here. Frank sees it every day.
yes.
Digital currency. So it's not going anywhere.
It's not going
Interesting.
anywhere. That's the fourth industrial revolution. That's the fourth industrial revolution. Just like the machine didn't go anywhere in the third revolution. Yeah.
Get in where you fit in. That's all.
Yeah.
That's all, Frank.
Frank
So
is
I
right.
do apologize for not knowing who you were. You came to my show and supported my show, Frank, and I do
That's
apologize.
okay.
Thank you, brother, for forgiving
Hey,
me.
no, that's right. Join the Discord. We're in the realm. It's
I'm
all
so
good.
sorry.
All hail Empress Janet.
You sound
You
like
don't have to
George
be
Carlin. That's my
Hey.
favorite comedian, George
Yeah.
Carlin.
Janet, hey,
I will
That's
let
my
He's
you
one cool
favorite.
dude, I promise you.
Let's
He
do
is
that
one
then,
cool
Frank.
dude.
You can
Janet,
be
real
all in
quick.
Empress Janet's world. I like you, Frank. I'm gonna let
Janet,
you
real
back
quick.
in.
Can we rewind real quick? You said
Okay.
something earlier. You said sorry.
Yeah, I know. That's bad.
You're not sorry.
No,
You're
I
not
know.
a sorry.
I gotta
lady.
watch that movie by Jet Li.
You're a strong, independent, buff, rough, tough individual.
Yes, dear.
No. I gotta watch that Jet Li movie. I forgot the name
Oh,
of
You're
it.
yeah,
still
but
a
He
smart,
tells the
Frank.
story
I
of
like
sorry.
you.
He's cool, I must say. Okay, somebody was dying to. Oh, what, Annan? Were you looking to say something?
Yeah, I was going to mention astrology in by the ancient Celts. They used to engage in many practices, and I'm just going to read. I sent it to your WhatsApp. They used to engage in meditation techniques that gave them ecstasy and heat, and they were taught by beings that they call the seven sages or the seven sexten Riones, the star of Ursa Major, also called Eburoi, the boars, the same one that Silos was talking about earlier. This is a very important set of seven stars, also for across Asia, for Egypt, and for Babylon. These are like the seven great sages, and all over the world, people say they come from them, right? So it was just interesting to listen to them. So I would just like to hear more thoughts about these. Silos had mentioned another star system, and I don't know which one that is and who comes from there. But I was just curious if people can share their thoughts on
Sirius A,
or some major.
B, and C. Yeah, Sirius that the Dogons in Mali speaks about. Sirius A, B, and C. It's a star system, and then you have the Orion Belt. The Orion Belt, where the pyramids lined up perfectly with the Orion Belt. In that constellation, you get the Draco's constellation. You have the Sagittarius, but that's the arm, the Sagittarius arm. So the astronomy, really maps out the constellation like that, because a lot of the navigators use those constellations to navigate the waters. You know what I'm saying? And then in ancient time, they used, just like we use astrology today, they use astronomy, the ancient Kemetic, the Ma Federation, to navigate the ways even through the land, and knowing what areas are going to be flooded, and the Nile, what time the Nile, what's the best time that the Nile is going to be flooded to cause irrigation. This was a science that led up to astronomy. But then I think in Babylonia, they had that science also. But I think when astrology, because ology is, I think that's Greek origin. When the study of something like philosophy, ology means the study of something. And the study of astro, the stars, that study, I think, was in the institutions in Greek, if I'm not mistaken. The Babylonians had another system when it came to stars. They had another.
No. The Babylonians had exact same one. It was the exact same one. It was different. It was different. No. It's different names. The Greeks just have different names according to their gods. It's exact same. The Western one, like okay, the Indians have a different one. The sidereal one, that's different. The Indian sidereal one is different, right? That's based in India, but the Western one was always based in the Babylonian tradition.
Right. But this is the thing about but you can line up. You can line up. I'm sorry.
Gentlemen, hold on one second. Wolf is here, and he came up
blew my eardrums out.
He came up specifically to talk about finance, and then we'll return to what you gentlemen are talking about. Wolf, go ahead. You had some financial information for us.
So when you got to look at this stuff. A lot of the inflation numbers have been skewed for decades, and especially in the States, you have to take all that into account. America has not run a surplus budget in.
Where'd he go?
I don't know.
Oh, he was hitting
Come
something
back.
interesting.
I know. I'm like, wait.
America went bankrupt. I know he was heading towards the bankruptcy of America. That's how they had to shut down.
Oh my God!
Is that why they shut him down? Nobody wanted us to hear what he had to say.
Yeah, man, he was going in.
It was Pluto. Pluto did it.
But I want to say something to whoever I was. I'm sorry, was it
Mr.
Palu?
Mr. Palu.
Palu, yeah. When you look at the Babylonian wheel of the constellation, it's the opposite of the constellation wheel we use today. In the Babylonian, this is known as the Libra, which if you look across that wheel, you see Aquarius. So in this paradigm, in this school of, because there are different schools in astrology, not every astrologist believe the same. They got their own different schools within astrology. And so when you look at it, they call this the age of Aquarius. But if you look at Babylonia and you line it up perfectly, this is the age of Libra, the Libra age, because this is the age of perfect balancement, where everything gets balanced and reset. There was a reset, the conjunction of the planets and the resetting, and like a lot of these high, men of wealth, they follow the stars. So they knew that this was resetting. So they reset the currency. World Bank reset the currency. Then they came up with this program, this initiative, but I don't want to say it because I don't want a coach to be tagged. But the Jaggable Rap, that thing that came on, number 19, that thing that came on, it reset the whole economic system here in America. Reset it all around the world.
Yeah.
The economics is reset.
I'm sorry, it cut me off. I don't know what happened.
Yeah, Wolf.
Okay, we were waiting for you. We thought Pluto got you.
Yeah,
I
sorry.
shut my mouth. I want to hear what Wolf got to say.
So, like, I studied this stuff in school. Like, I have a double master's because I did military service. So after the military, I used that to pay for my master's.
Nice.
I double majored in economics and finance, and I work in an investment bank, managing clients' 401ks, Roth IRAs, big accounts. Well, not massive accounts, but I'm working my way up. So, anyways, back to it. Is what cryptocurrency essentially does is it takes corruption away from government, gives it back to the people. Now, it is digital, therefore it can be hacked. You know, every cryptocurrency runs an algorithm, a code. Bitcoin, for example, the most popular one, runs what's called SHA-256. SHA-256 is got millions and trillions of combinations, therefore it makes it hard to crack the blockchain. Blockchain is really what the technology is about. Cryptocurrency does not exist without blockchain. Blockchain is the main thing.
It's like an internet blockchain. Yeah.
Yes. Now,
So did you say SHA-56? Can you type that so we know what it is?
Yeah, it's SHA-256 S8. Well, I can't type it because I'm on my iPad, but
that's the writing program.
Yes.
Okay, but put it in Loveland.
I use Idle, but SHA. Okay, I'm learning Idle.
Okay, put it in Loveland when you get a chance.
Let me see. All right, I'll put it in the Beehive real quick.
Okay, yes, thank you.
That's the actual language, but it's a coding language. It was written by Satoshi Nakamoto. There's a lot of rumors about this guy. There's people who say it's Elon Musk. It's not Elon Musk, in my opinion. There's people who say it's some guy in Japan. It could be anybody.
All right,
but,
CIA op. Yeah.
Well, I don't think it's CIA, and the reason I say that is because of how much the government has sanctioned it, especially when El Salvador adopted it. I think if the government created, they wouldn't be trying to kill it so badly.
Yes, that's true. That's true.
No,
that's right.
There is an issue with gold and silver, but go ahead real quick because I want to get to gold and silver.
No, I was
just
just
gonna
mention.
said something.
Yeah, I was just gonna mention real quick when you mentioned Elon Musk. It was a live he was on like a couple of weekends ago, and he was sharing some tips and some information about Bitcoin and crypto. And you know, that channel is, I guess he was sharing too much because all of a sudden the live just went off, and then when you try to go back on it, it said the channel was terminated.
Wow.
So, yeah. I took
that was on YouTube? On YouTube?
Yeah, on YouTube. And I sent it to my friend. I was like, look at this. We're talking about this. And I was like, okay, he's getting too, he was sharing too much. And they terminated the person's channel on spot. So I said, okay. It was just interesting that you mentioned that, and I just had to bring that up.
Well, same thing happened. You guys know McAfee Security.
McAfee Security, yes.
John McAfee, you can argue there's a conspiracy going around that they killed him. I'm not going to go too deep on that because I don't want to get Coach Love a strike on her channel.
Right.
Yeah,
but there's rumors
story,
that John McAfee did not kill himself. There's rumors that he was killed because he was saying a little bit too much about the cryptocurrency space.
Yeah.
Now it's great to ask you to come back, Wolf, to talk about the cryptocurrency space and then just all of this. But I do want you to come back, but you know.
Yeah. But anyways, to tie it all together,
use some lessons.
Right. To tie it all together, I'm not saying gold and silver doesn't have value, but there's a flaw in the system, especially with the Federal Reserve. When they account for their gold and silver, it's a one-line item, which means essentially they can loan your gold out and not tell you about it. And there's this whole big debacle going around saying they may have lent out more gold than they actually have. And if that's true, you can make an argument that the price of gold and silver is highly inflated.
Oh,
because
lovely.
of the complete scandal they've been running. And why they don't like cryptocurrency is because they can't control it, because they control fiat gold and silver, but they do not control digital assets yet.
And what did Frank say? What did Frankie say?
You said if you hadn't already bought any, you're behind.
And why do you think they're targeting it right now with that stuff going on in Canada? They shut down the fiat system, so they went crypto route. Now the Canadian government's getting pissed off, so they're trying to find a way to shut down the BTC donations.
I mean, gold is always going to have a value because also, you know, there's a stockpile of gold that's in the Philippines. You know that, right?
Yeah.
It's a stockpile of gold, and it belongs to humanity. It belongs to
Mm-hmm.
to humanity, and that's being held because
Right.
the debt facility. They're just trying to stop from the World Bank getting their hands on it. You know what I'm saying?
Hold on. You said that like it's common knowledge. That's not common knowledge to me. Am I the only person who did not know that?
I
About the
didn't
debt
know.
facility? No.
I didn't know about all the gold in the Philippines. That's for all
Yeah, in the
humanity. I didn't know
Philippines,
about
there's
that.
there's caverns, and they have a huge stockpile of gold, and that was done with what is it, Marco, at the
Yeah.
time they fought the war, and Philippine War, and
How
so
does
they
it get to be
stockpile.
all of humanities and not the Philippines? How does that work?
Well, it includes
Right.
the Philippines, you know what I'm saying, but it's all humanity. Because remember, a lot of gold was taken from many different parts of the earth, and taken to certain areas, and
Yeah.
so when they have a war and they took that gold, in the Philippines, and they stockpile it because that was a U.S. territory. They stockpile it under, on those caverns, but they're very, very highly guarded, I believe, in the technology to protect that.
Who's
But yeah,
guarding?
that's
So
the depth
the U.S. is
facility.
guarding it. Is a U.S. base?
I don't know if it's U.S. base. I can't really tell you if
Or
it's U.S. base. I'm
is
sure
it
I'm sure
is it the
NATO. I think
Philippines?
NATO, the Philippine with NATO, are
Yeah.
guarding that.
And I'll put something else in your thing, Coach Love. There's this action committee called GATA, which is the Gold Action Trust Association, I believe. And they've been investigating the manipulation of prices of gold and silver. And what makes this conspiracy theory so interesting is from 1998 to 2002, United States, Canada, Russia, and the UK were all selling gold in massive quantities. Why were they all doing that at the same time?
That's right.
Almost in sync with one another.
Yes, that's right.
I don't know.
To suppress the price to make you stay in the fiat system and not see gold as the actual currency.
Scarcity in economics. Scarcity is economics. If I
Take
could
Wall
create a
Street, for
scarcity
example.
or want
Why
for
do you
something,
think that? Wall Street wants to sell you paper, not currency, because money and currency, people confuse the two. Money is nothing. It's given value because we say it is. Currency is a limited resource. Real estate, gold, silver, but cryptocurrency is the big thing because of decentralized finance, which if you tie that all to the metaverse and the banks and what's called stable coins,
and a lot of banks are making that switch. Yep.
Yeah. I had a question for people. Well, astrologers, does your astrology suggest anything about inflation?
Uranus and Taurus.
Okay, I didn't know where he was tying astrology to finance. I don't know too much about the horoscope stuff.
I don't know too much about that. I know about the bear market and
I
the
mean, it's
bear being
this is
Russia
astrology
and the bear
podcast. Why I'm putting it
constellation.
up?
I know about the bear constellation, and I know about the dragon constellation right now, and the effect that the bear market becomes a bear market, and before
Well,
the
Rod
bull
seems to be
market.
the person who seems to be able to bridge the gap between astrology and finance.
Right. That's Rosalind.
Yeah, Uranus and Taurus. Just if you study, Google the aspects of it, you get an understanding about financially. And as far as in your personal chart, if you study the 8th house, also study the 2nd house. 2nd house is more so about your work and not work. 6th house is more work, but your resources. It's tied to 8th house and other people's.
Wow. Can you do that study for us and then come back and help us understand it? Because I wouldn't know what to study.
Sure. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, like how you study the houses, a house, the house of,
It depends on what now I'm more into, I used to do Placidus. They have there's tons of house systems and they have different names.
True.
And for me, from just my own personal experience studying my own life, generally more people are into Placidus, but a lot of the millennial generation and the Gen Z generation are more into whole signs, which I'm more leaning into whole signs now because there's different aspects that I see happen more so in the whole sign chart than Placidus. But
It's more
and then
accurate for
y'all
you.
saying what type? Yeah, more accurate as
More
far as
manifestations.
yeah. And so I look at it in that way. But it's different houses. It's like 12 slices in the pie, and the 12 slices, each slice tells you about what aspect of your life. So your first house, which I'll just break down, is like your personality. That's where your ascendant is usually at. If you go through a whole sign or a Placidus house system, your ascendant is usually on that line.
Right. Is that where the Bible? I'm sorry. Is that where the real quickly because something hit me? Is that where the Bible get that whole narrative of that in my father's are many mansions and houses, talking about the constellation?
It could be because I mentioned that earlier. The Bible has different.
Yeah, it is. No, it is. It is. That's exactly where it comes from. In my father's house, there's many mansions in it. Yeah, that's because it's because it's really my father's mansion. There's many houses.
Many houses that you have to know about constellations. Okay,
that's why even the Rastafarians call them their places mansions. They call their orders, their different orders mansions.
I don't know that astrology has anything to do with that Bible reference.
I don't know.
Yeah, I
mean, if you go to Job 99, it mentions it mentions Palladius, it mentions Arcturus, it mentions constellations in Job 9:9. If you read it, it mentions. You know what I'm saying? So I mean, in the Bible, there's a lot of reference to astronomy. It's clear,
Right, but
and it's
astronomy
clear.
and astrology are two different things.
Right. I'm getting that. I'm getting
Yeah.
that. Yeah. You're right about that.
Yeah. I mean, I understand the desire to want to connect them together.
Right.
I'm just not sure that's accurate.
Right.
I mean, I think there are
it's more that
connections
gotta be
because they're doing by calculations. Because astronomy can only be done with astrological calculations.
Right. And how about astrology? It's not done with astronomical calculations.
No, that's what I said. Astrology can only be done with astronomical calculations.
Oh, right. Astronomy. Exactly.
Astrology is impossible without astronomy.
Exactly. It comes out of astrology. Comes out of you're right. You're correctly right on that. I mean, that's the truth. It's the truth.
Mr. Palu, can you explain the difference, please?
Okay. Astronomy is the study of the stars, their movements, and the constellations. Right now, astrology is based on the same thing, but it depends how you interpret that. You could interpret it as signs of things that are written in the stars that if you believe is destiny and you believe the signs of your destiny, you can interpret it as that. Or some people might go as far as saying, I don't know what else people might say except the signs. But if you attribute power to the stars in and of itself, then that would be like idolatry. That would be idolatry of the stars. So I mean, so some people might get into idolatry of the stars, but astrology is just mapping out the effects of not effects, but the signs of the destiny that in the star for understanding our psychology. That's why I said it was an ancient philosophical psychological system that people use.
It also birthed languages. There's glyphs. When you study the Sabiic and you study, because when you look to the stars, there's ways you can read it, and it's like hieroglyphics. You know, it's another script up there. You know what I'm saying?
So,
and you read those scripts. Yeah.
I got a question for you in general. Would you consider Nostradamus an astrologist?
I don't know too much of Nostradamus' history. I know he had to make these quatrains and say he saw the future. He probably was. I don't know about Nostradamus.
Would he be considered that? I mean, because I don't know too much about astrology.
I think he studied astronomy. I think he studied very deeply into astronomy, like Galileo, and those physicists. You know, they study a lot about astronomy at that time. You know what I'm saying? Astrology was totally different, but they were more astronomical because they even had the devices to actually look and chart those stars and chart them in certain ways. And you know, they had the devices. And like I said, language, when you look at the Sabine language and the way, if you draw out, point to point and stars, whatever, you can actually create glyphs. And that's the first way, that those glyphs was created, by charting. Charting. That's a whole different thing. Now, astrology, what I see is about astrology, which is the study of the astro. Astronomy is the science. It's the actual science. And when you study that science, it becomes astrology. But, now they say, what is it, 12 constellation, 12 signs? But now they
So
found
astronomy is the science and astrology is the art then? Would you say astronomy is the science, astrology is the art?
Yeah, it's like the art. It's the study of that particular science, which is astronomy, astrophysics.
So astrology is the art and astronomy is the science.
Something like that, yes.
So you were about to get to this particular idea. I want to talk about it. There is supposedly a 13th sign, the
Yes,
Agios.
a 13th sign in between Sagittarius, I believe. In between there, they found another
Sagittarius and Capricorn, I think.
Yeah,
between there.
The 13th sign. Yeah.
So can someone speak to that?
Can anybody know anything about that? I mean, I can't speak on it too much.
I've heard about it, but I've heard about it for forever. I've never not remember hearing about it, but I've never really paid attention to it. I've only paid attention to the classical zodiac.
Same here.
Yeah, me too. I heard about it. I don't really apply it to my studies.
So do you think it's inaccurate? Do you think it's unnecessary? What is our opinion of it?
I think it's bullshit.
Okay, that's
what I think about that.
It's about calculations.
Well, they changed the date range for all the signs when they did it, and it's not equal. It's not consistent or logical. They shortened Scorpio to a 6-day window, and that just doesn't fit. I think it's nonsense propaganda to get people talking.
Okay, where did it come
That's
from?
what I think.
Where did this idea come
Somebody found a new planet.
Oh, okay.
So I don't want to sound
in the
dumb, but
galaxy.
like, would y'all consider the Mayan calendar astrology?
Oh, the
Mayan
calendar. Whoa, yeah, the Mayan calendar. Yeah, I've been reading the Toronto documents, and then it talks about that calendar. And
I don't know anything about astrology.
The way we count
that's why I mentioned
Let us go ahead and plug. Let us go ahead and plug your show, Palu, next Tuesday.
Yeah. This Tuesday coming up, we have a Mayan timekeeper, Mr. Jose Munoz. Now he's a Mayan timekeeper, and he's gonna come teach us about the Mayan culture and their rituals, their different fire rituals, and he's also an interfaith leader. He shares his wisdom around the world and brings people together with the work he's doing. He has peace initiatives around the world. I'm trying to get the link right now. Hold on, so I could drop it in the back chat.
Okay, I got you.
Jose Munoz, a Mayan timekeeper. So come learn about the Mayan culture. Is on Jana Wallace's channel. I put the link in the back chat for
Thank you. I love it.
So everybody, that's a notification. Click on the notification and watch a phenomenon.
Beautiful.
Excellent. And if you are in the Beehive in Love Hand, you can be sure that you're going to get it because Mr. Palu is definitely going to drop that link, right?
Yes, of course. After the show.
All right. That's what's up. I love it.
Nice.
Okay, so back to the question. Is that astrology? What's your thought?
It's astronomy, and they probably had astrological things too. They had their own deities and their own whatever and their own mythology. So they probably incorporated the mythologies into astrologies as well. That's why they said the world was going to end. Okay, the fact they said the world was going to end, that's itself is astrology because they're looking at the timing and they're Actually, it might not be. This might be the time. I mean, I'm assuming it's tied to the sun too. So they're looking at the timing, and it's saying that we making an interpretation of reality by looking at the timing and saying we think certain things will happen because the signs read that it's going to happen this way, and we think there's a pattern in the cosmos about it. So they looked at the time, looked at astrology, and made some inferences.
And
so
they were accurate.
At that point, it'll be astrology.
Yeah, they were accurate, Pelu. They were very accurate because they were talking about the resetting to the golden age, and resetting into the golden age, the Mayan calendar. It was a reset.
So you believe that the world ending was accurate? You believe that was an accurate statement? Can you explain that again, 𝐊𝐍𝐓?
That when you look at the Maya calendar, we talk about the end of the world. It was the end of the beginning of a new beginning. It was the golden age. This era, what they call it was a fourth world, and now we're heading into the fifth world. So they accurately, documented that, that it wasn't just the end of life. It was a new beginning, a resetting of things. And that reset, I believe that reset might have came in 2012, or it might have been in 2021. Because if you switch to 12, you get 2021. So they were accurate.
Oh my goodness. You know what? All I can say is you guys blew my mind tonight. I'm serious. Just wow.
Something else that needs to be looked into is The Simpsons as well.
Yeah,
there's so much stuff coming from that show, man.
That's
remote
viewing. That's remote viewing.
And now they're talking about Putin's uprising in Russia, and here we are. That shit was back in the early 2000s.
How do they do that? I think it's remote viewing, right? Remote viewing. I think Michael Jackson did remote viewing also because he walked around with a mask constantly.
Yeah, he did.
China did it too.
Who's writing this? I mean, what is that?
The Japanese have worn masks for many years. They're very considerate. Yes. They're very considerate to each other. They don't want to spread their germs and disease. Right. They're not like us.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. They understand that there's more virus in the air than there is in the ground. And
they've always been. We dropped 2 bombs on them and turned our back on them, and they had to clean it up themselves and heal each other and take care of each other. And they're very polite. They're a very clean country, and they cared about not spreading germs and diseases long before this pandemic showed up.
Beautiful culture, Japanese. Yeah. Beautiful culture.
Wow. Listen, I'm going to give everybody a last word. Speak up and tell me when you want to jump up. Otherwise, I'm just going to get started. Does anybody want to go first for their last word?
I will.
I will. Okay, here you go, Miss Janet.
Thank you.
Got it.
It's been a pleasure. And I love everybody on the panel. I wish you all the best of tomorrow and whatever you do. And thank you for having me. And I learned a lot. Shout out to the chat room and anybody watching this on the replay. Please come to Coach Love. She's got the answers. Love you guys.
All right. Love you too as well, my sweet. Mr. Pelu.
Yeah, I'd like to say a nice show. Following up this show, check me out on Jen Wallace. That's JENN, last name Wallace, WALLIS. We're doing the show with the Mayan timekeeper, Jose Munoz. So come check out the Mayan timekeeper and keep this astrology, metaphysical. Let's get down to the metaphysicals and the ancient cultures that gave us metaphysicals, even the ones that we don't necessarily use right now, but have a history of astrology and metaphysics put together. Let's come learn from the Mayans, what the Mayans got to say about the stars and our destiny, and how to understand the world we live in, both past, present, and future. Thank you.
I love it. I love it. All right now, Wolf.
Somebody else go before me real quick. I'm still trying to get my thoughts together.
Okay, 𝐊𝐿𝐲.
Well, real quickly, I thank you very much for having me on the panel here, and I'm definitely I come with the attitude that I come to find out what I don't know to increase my learning. You know what I'm saying? So this has been very productive on my end. You know what I'm saying, of learning more. Definitely going to look into astrology a little more. So I thank for that information. And all in blessings. You can see me at 𝐊𝐿𝐲 congas, because that's what I do. I play congas. I'm a percussionist, professional percussionist. And so 𝐊𝐍'𝐲 on Facebook or 𝐊𝐍'𝐲 on YouTube, and we can build if you ever need to build. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely. And 𝐊𝐍'𝐲, you can always drop your lives in Loveland in the Beehive. Please do. Please do. All right, Roz, what you got for us, girlfriend?
Hi, thank you so much, Coach Love, for introducing me to the panel and to your audience. And I know this is just the beginning. There will be continuations. So definitely astrology is cool. So I'm a supporter of it. It definitely has changed my life and in many ways. And I like it. I use it for so many different things, location, relocation. There's so many aspects to it. So I'm glad this is kind of like an introduction to it. Just thank you. And I'll be looking forward to some more of your live streams.
All right. Thank you so much. So much. Wolf, where are you at?
All right. Yeah, I'm ready now. So to everybody listening, just everybody, please get your finances in order. That's the first thing I would start with. Especially in these times we are living in. Do not depend on the government to do everything for you. I appreciate Auntie Love. I call her Auntie, y'all call her Coach, because I've had personal conversations with her off stream and stuff. I love everybody. I come here always trying to learn something new. And pretty much I just wish everybody the best. Really, we can get through this together and, keep sharing knowledge. And these panels are very important because this is what we need more of, not fighting.
Absolutely.
More talking, less fighting.
More talking, less fighting. All right, President Sharman.
I mean, what's not to like about more talking and less fighting? And coming together to learn a little bit more about everything in the world and how it works together. And I want to thank everybody for given the opportunity to be on the panel with each other and speaking to each other about your ideas. Feel free to follow me on all the social platforms. I'm probably one of the few Sharmans out there. Please feel free to buy a copy of my book anywhere online that books are sold, whether it be Walmart or Barnes & Noble or Amazon. The book is Taming the Tida, T-I-D-A. And, look forward for other books to come from me as well. And I look forward to seeing you and being on other panels with each of you as well.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. Big ups to Loveland. You guys know y'all know how to do it in the Beehive. Mwah. And let me just say, thank you for watching the best energy on the planet. Oh, with Coach Love. I love you guys. You are amazing. I am incredibly fortunate and blessed just to be in your company. Good night for now. Bye-bye.